What's going on, guys? We are back with the next installment of the Understanding the Officer video series, and in today's video we are going to be covering Angel of Light. She is an officer that for a long time had pretty much no relevancy in Warpath, but has since, with the increase of infantry usage, has kind of stormed back onto the scene, so we're going to break all of it down for you. So let's go ahead and jump right into the video. Welcome back, guys. I hope you are all doing wonderful. I hope life is going well for each and every one of you. Like I said in the intro, we are going to be discussing Angel of Light. Now, I want to talk about something just briefly unrelated to Angel of Light or any of these other officers specifically. There have been some players recently that seem to think these videos are irrelevant. And like I said when I first started making this video series, if you're a seasoned player in Warpath, these videos are absolutely irrelevant to you. So you don't even have to spend the time watching them. Nobody is forcing you to watch them. I'm not putting this content out there for you in the first place. So those of you that are, in a way, almost seem like offended by this content, just understand this is not for you. This is for new players in Warpath that get a lot of benefit out of these videos. Hence, the views to back up the value that these videos are providing for those new players, as I'm sure when we were all starting Warpath, we would have probably liked to have some kind of information like this as well. But I digress. I just wanted to put that out there so that way you guys know exactly who these videos are kind of geared towards and focused on. But if you do enjoy these videos, if you get value out of these videos, make sure you like this video, subscribe to the channel if you are not already so you don't miss any future uploads. Let's try to get this video to at least 100 likes. And of course, if you know any other new players in Warpath that could benefit from this video or any other video on the channel, feel free to let them know about the channel, share the video with them. Anything helps. All right, now let's go ahead and jump in and start talking about Angel of Light. All right, so like I said earlier in the video, Angel of Light is an interesting officer because for a very, very long period of time, infantry, just as a basic unit, was pretty much irrelevant. Very, very few people ever ran infantry. And once upon a time, the few people that did actually run infantry units were pretty much unanimously hated by everybody in their alliance because all of those little soldiers would be streaming out of their base, their reserves as they would retrain, and it would block troops like tanks and stuff like that getting to where they needed to go. So not only were infantry units just terrible standalone units, but it also kind of pissed everybody off in the process. But over the last 6, 7, 8, 9 months now, infantry has kind of stormed back onto the scene. It was literally used by almost nobody. And so they've buffed it and buffed it and buffed it, and now it is a lot more used and a lot more relevant by many within the community, which has since kind of resurrected Angel of Light from the grave, so to speak. Angel of Light is an infantry-specific officer, and she is focused on healing and just kind of protection-based skills in general. She is about survivability and durability. Now, I'm not going to go through and read each one of her skills individually because obviously you guys are all very much capable of doing that on your own. And all of the Generation 1 officers that we are covering in this video series are all officers you're going to get or have access to really, really early on. So it's not like you're going to be trying to get a sneak peek at officers that are going to unlock later in your server's life. So these are officers you're going to have right away, so you can read the skills, but her first skill, her tactical skill, is going to administer battlefield first aid, healing her troop or their troop. Healing coefficient is 500 per second for the next 4 seconds. If this officer is in an infantry troop, this skill heals an extra 25% HP. So as you're in combat, she's just going to continue to regenerate health, which is obviously pretty self-explanatory there. It's going to increase the longevity and the survivability of your unit when it's actually in combat. Her second skill, which is shockingly a protection skill, increases the damage resist of this officer's troop by 15%. This skill does have some value through the officer skill training system, depending on your unit types and the setup you run. You can utilize this skill to your benefit. Again, if you're running another pair of officers, but you want to have some protection-based skills on them for whatever the reason might be, this is going to be a skill that might play well in that role. And then her fourth skill, again a passive skill, increases the blast mitigation of this officer's troop by 50%. This is really good for not only infantry units, but think about something like a super heavy. If you were to throw this skill on one of your super heavy officers, so she could help mitigate the damage that is going to be dealt through blast damage with, think, artillery units and rocket launchers. And then her fifth skill, once she is fully awakened, when this officer's infantry troop is attacked by a skill, it has a 75% chance to reduce the damage taken by 35%. Can be triggered one time every 5 seconds. This skill becomes very valuable when you are using infantry to tank bases and all of those garrisoned officers start hitting their tactical skills start to fire off. This skill is definitely going to be an asset to you, and it's going to increase the survivability of your super heavy tank or main battle tank or whatever it is you're choosing to tank with. Now, when it comes to officers that you can pair with Everbloom, the best, hands down, the best officer that you can pair with Angel of Light is going to be Everbloom if your primary focus of your infantry unit is going to be survivability, durability, and for tanking bases. These two officers together are an incredible, incredible combination for that specific role. I mean, at least at this point in time in the game, there is not a better setup for your tanking infantry units. Now, right out of the gate, though, you will not have access to Everbloom or any other infantry officer for that matter, with the exception of White Wolf. White Wolf is the only other Generation 1 infantry-specific officer, and she is primarily focused on an offensive skill set. But early game, when units are still capped at 7.2 and you've got some growth potential there, White Wolf is a very, very solid pairing, as she does have some durability and survivability aspects to her, kind of in addition to the offensive focused skill set that she brings. But they pair well together, especially in the early game. Now, the last thing I want to cover is Angel of Light a good investment long term? And the answer is obviously going to depend on how heavily you want to or intend to invest with your infantry. If you plan to go all in on infantry, then absolutely she is 1,000% worth your time and investment. If you are looking for just a basic officer to kind of get you by with your infantry unit in the early game, and maybe you want to use your infantry more as a field fighting unit instead of an actual tanking unit, then she's still going to hold some value there, but there's probably going to be some better options out there. And then obviously, of course, if you don't have really much interest at all in infantry, then she's not worth it. Focus on tank or artillery officers and pretty much steer clear of infantry officers. But again, if you're going to go all in on infantry, Angel of Light is an absolute must-have unit, especially if you intend on tanking bases with it. That's going to wrap us up for this video. Just like the previous Understanding the Officer videos, not super long, nothing crazy in-depth. Just want to give you a basic understanding of Angel of Light and kind of put you on the right direction on where to go and who to invest in as you continue to progress in Warpath. If you have stuck around and made it this far into the video, if you've got access to Discord but are not already in our community Discord server, the link to that is going to be in the description of the video. Click on that link, it'll take you right into the community Discord server. Whether you are a new player and have more questions, want to learn, or if you're a veteran player and just want to come hang out, get to know more people in the community, it doesn't matter. Absolutely everybody is welcome. As always, thanks for taking the time to watch the video today, and we'll see you on the next one.